But this is where you're talking about the ability to improvise, right? To understand, okay, something has differentiated, a standard deviation from the norm, and that is going to require a slightly different approach, right? So,
And
yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
a way of thinking about that is if you think of this as a big loop. So you collect something, the information, now you're processing it. I don't know what's happening inside your head of how you're processing it, except that I can look at what you're focusing on and I can see what your response to that is. So I can kind of deduce or infer what you're thinking about. But inside that, if you see something that raises your attention and it's anomalous or it's a surprise, there's certain things that you're going to do. You're either going to ignore it, you're going to shift between different theories. Is it this, or this? You're going to use past experiences to pull into it. You're going to make an exception to it. A lot of these are very aligned with something we'll talk about probably later in research, but the cognitive psychologist Gary Klein has what he calls a data frame model. And it's very much the same type of thing. It's inside of that, I'm playing with the suspicion level of what you choose to do with it. And whether that's rationalizing the story, how well can I sense the hypothesis that you're going to try to generate? If you say it to me, I can now manipulate your hypothesis and feed it or suppress it, depending on what I want to do.
Yeah. So what you just did there is you provided the right way to improvise, because once you start improvising, it can completely go off the rails. But you just gave us the 3 or 4, different things to do that are the right things, so that it doesn't go off the rails, so that you can keep it tight, or you can bring it back to baseline, which is, if you were listening, hopefully that was helpful.
And one more simple thing on that. I tend to think, yes, I have past experience influencing what I'm going to do. So A, B, or C. But I also think of D. What if it's none of the above? And that's now jumping off the cliff and building the plane on the way down. That's where you have to trust yourself. Some might call that the flow state. But that ability to, yes, these things have worked in the past. This person doesn't work like that, or this moment doesn't work like that. So let's build this together.
Right. And a willingness to crash in the event that you don't on the way down.
Yes.
It's
Yep.
going to happen.